It's been a great weekend for the Angels in Houston. They've won 3 straight games against the Astros, 2 in come-from-behind fashion. And this afternoon, from Minute Maid Park, they go for the series sweep. We welcome you inside Minute Maid and back to Angels baseball on Fox Sports West, along with Mark Gubiza. I'm Victor Rojas, and the last 2 games we've been treated to some spectacular offensive performances by the Angels, especially late in the 8th and 9th innings.
Yeah, Victor, I'll tell you what, they've been running the bases well, getting some key clutch hits, 2 outs, and take a look at our Honda helpful moment. You're seeing what this offense has been able to do. The last 2 games, first time in franchise history, they've been able to come back-to-back in games trailing by 3 or more runs in the 7th inning or later. Outstanding what you see from these swings right here. Even perfect pitches, guys are putting the ball in play. Aggressive base running, situational hitting, and the guys having all kinds of energy, knowing what's at stake for the Astros, and the Angels playing exceptional baseball here in Houston late in games. They've scored 16 runs when you add them together, 16 in the 8th and 9th inning the last 2 nights. That's how good they've been. That's how aggressive they've been, and of course, how confident they've been able to do as far as getting runs home and doing whatever it takes to be able to come back against a very good bullpen coming into May. One of the best bullpens from May to now in baseball. Come back against them twice.
And the fun part about it is, too, is that they get a chance to knock the Astros perhaps out of the wild card contention. They're still involved, but we'll see how the rest of the week plays out for the Astros and the rest of the American League as far as the wild card is concerned. We're going to step away for a moment. Albert Pujols is having a fantastic weekend here in Houston. We'll talk about that when we return. Game 4 of this 4-game series. Angels going for the series sweep. Mentioned going to break that Albert has had a fantastic series overall on the year. Not a bad season either. 118 RBIs coming into play today.
Yeah, Victor, as usual, dealing against the Houston Astros. Take a look at our tools of the trade brought to you by Ram Trucks. What a series he has had with the bat against the Astros. 7 for 12. 4 RBI, giving him 144 career RBIs against the Astros, and he's used the entire field. He's hit a home run in this series. He's driven the ball to left. He's driven the ball to right. Very comfortable at the plate, using that lower part of his body to create the balance and the power in his swing as he continues to swing the bat exceptionally well this season.
See if the Angels can go for the sweep and get it done before heading back home for the last week of the season. It's baseball time in Texas. Sit back and relax. Going to bring you the lineups and the first pitch when we return. Broadcast of Angels baseball on Fox Sports West is brought to you by Hyundai. Great deals on amazing cars are going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today. By Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Brewhouse Bacon Burger today for limited time only at participating restaurants. By your Southern California Toyota dealers. By Mercury Insurance, on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com to get a fast free quote and see how much you can save. And by the Jeep Renegade. Find your inner Renegade and reach your highest potential with an EPA estimated 31 highway miles per gallon. We welcome you back out to Minute Maid Park. This is the side of Game 4 of a 4-game series. Major League Baseball, the Angels and Fox Sports West mourn the loss of young Major League pitcher Jose Fernandez, who was killed in a tragic boat accident earlier this morning. The 24-year-old, along with two friends, hitting some rocks while out in the ocean. An unfortunate passing of three young individuals, and with Jose, of course, being a guy that came over from Cuba, defected actually 3 or 4 times before finally landing on the shores and making a career for himself. A tragic loss at the baseball family, so our condolences go out to his family, his unborn child. They just announced that his girlfriend was pregnant about 5 days ago, and it's just something that is a lot of heavy hearts throughout Major League Baseball and throughout the country with the loss of this young, really talented, fantastic young man.
No question about it. Just a beautiful human being. Great smile, great competitor.
The Astros have taken the field, and we'll show you the lineup for Mike Scioscia. Originally, Yunel Escobar was in the lineup and was going to lead things off, and because of the tragic passing of his friend Jose Fernandez, he was taken out of the game, and that's the only announcement that the Angels will make, just given a day to grieve the passing of his good friend. Cole Calhoun instead will lead things off and play right field. Mike Trout is in center. Albert will serve as a DH and bat third. C.J. Cron at first base. Andrelton Simmons, the shortstop. Rafael Ortega in left. Carlos Perez behind the plate. Caleb Coward will get to start over at third base and bat eighth. And then it's Cliff Pennington batting ninth, playing second base. They are taking on a 23-year-old right-hander native of El Cajon, California. The young Joe Musgrove facing the Angels for the first time in his career.
In Musgrove, fastballs 92 to 96 range, slider, cut fastball, curveball, split changeup. My go-to to be successful against him is get to know him. You haven't seen him before, see some pitches, and 2-1 zone. 2-1 zone when hitters are in those counts against him this year. 6 for 14 with 3 home runs. That means he's throwing a lot more fastballs in those counts. So you got to get to his point as a hitter and do damage.
Let's take a look at the defense for the Astros today. Behind Musgrove, you've got Kemp at left, Baristic at center, Springer at right, the infield with Gurriel and Correa on the left side. Altuve and Gonzalez on the right, and Evan Gattis behind the plate.
And Gattis, he's done a nice job behind the plate. Often we think about him as a designated hitter, but he's been very good. He's thrown at 50% of base stealers this year. His 47 starts at that catching position. Pretty good job as far as pitch framing also.
Halos looking for that 4-game sweep after from behind the last 2 games. Pick up the W. Cole at 264, 17 home runs, 70 runs batted in. Takes outside for ball 1. Musgrove pitching in his 11th big league game, 10th start. Downwood misses, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Big, tall right-hander. The Grossmont High School was a supplemental first-round pick of the Blue Jays in 2011. It was part of a 10-player deal in July of 2012 from Toronto. That's a deal that included Jay Happ and Francisco Cordero, to name a few. Cole lifts one out to left center. Jake Marisnik was busy last night. He'll get the call on the first ball in play for this afternoon's contest, and he's out number 1.
Musgrove playing high school football. He's an offense and defensive lineman. He's a big dude, that's for sure.
Astros minor league pitcher of the year last year. As Trout comes to the plate, Mike hitting .318. 28 home runs, 97 runs batted in. Foul the first one back. Trout last night, a couple of hits, on board 4 times. 2 walks, a single and a double, scored 3 runs and had 2 RBIs. So he had a pretty good game.
Yeah, you think? The old saying, it's Trout is being Trout.
Good breaking ball from Musgrove. No balls, 2 strikes. AA, AAA this year combined to go 7-4 with a 2.74 ERA, 87 strikeouts, 10 walks. That's it between those 2 levels. This one's fouled back, and even here at the big league level, 51 strikeouts, 16 walks in 10 games.
It's a great ratio. He's given up 9 home runs though in 55 innings pitched at the big league level.
One, 2. Foul tipped into the mitt. 2 down. A strikeout for Musgrove.
Went fastball away at 93. Trout just pulled off this pitch a bit. Gattis was setting up inside, threw that fastball away instead, and gets a swing and miss from Trout. And always the advantage that first time through for a young pitcher against a club they have not seen him before, his tendencies.
Albert looks at a fastball for a strike. Mentioned in the open the solid weekend that he's had. Last night going 2 for 4. A couple of RBIs. Potentially walked in the 9th inning. Breaking pitch, pulled foul.
But Albert, his last 79 games, 73 RBI. 144 career RBIs against the Astros for Pujols.
I'm trying to figure out how he hit that ball straight down and then go back. That's pretty impressive. 1-2.
That's almost impossible to do. Pretty good indication that little cut fastball had some action on it. Because he got it off the end of the bat.
This one's lined to left field. That's another hit for Albert. 2-out single.
8 for 13 in this series for Pujols against the Astros. No wonder they boo him every time he comes to the plate. Breaking ball, went down and got that. Good balance. Real good job as far as getting that foot down, keeping those hips in there long enough, kept the bat back in that good swing path to be able to hit that to left field, even though fooled a little bit on the breaking ball.
Current at 277 with 16 home runs. Takes a breaking ball for a strike. Was having a rough night until the 8th inning. Gone 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, but then had a big sac fly in the 8th. Then added an RBI single in the 9th.
That sac fly was pretty important because that was a really good pitch thrown to him. Just made contact enough, and a good base running decision by Trout to score on that one. Stayed back close enough to the base, even though that baseball looked like it might have a chance to fall in front of Marisnick. He's able to tag up.
Well, that's right on the hands, and he shot it into the dugout. No balls, 2 strikes. Pujols, a 2-out single, standing at first. This one's out toward right field, chasing Springer back. He plays a shallow right field. This one is off the glove and off the wall. Albert headed to third. He is going to be stopped there. Springer gets the baseball back in. A double for C.J. Cron, his 22nd of the year.
Another good swing for C.J. Cron going the other way. All-speed pitch, hit well. You mentioned Springer plays so shallow, going all the way back off the glove as he reached up as he got to the warning track just in front of that wall. He was able to get back and get that baseball quickly. Otherwise, Pujols scores. It looked like initially Ron Renicky was going to send him home, then decided to stop.
So runners at second and third, 2 outs, and here's Simmons. Breaking ball for a strike. Chad Fairchild calling the balls and strikes today. James Hoy at first, Marvin Hudson at second, and Jim Joyce, the crew chief, at third base. Andrelton at 279. 21 doubles, couple of triples, 4 home runs. 0 for 5 last night. This one's out toward right field. Springer coming in on it. Just there. Angels get a couple of men on with 2 outs and leave them stranded in scoring position. Scoreless as we head to the bottom of the first. AJ Hinch's lineup for game number 156 for the Houston Astros, currently at 81 and 74. George Springer will lead things off once again.
He'll play right. Yuli Gurriel at third base. Jose Altuve at second. Carlos Correa, the shortstop. Evan Gattis, after DH in the first 3 games, will serve as the catcher. Marvin Gonzalez at first. Tyler White DHing today. Tony Kemp back at left, and Jake Marisnick batting ninth, playing center field. They are taking on Daniel Wright, making his 4th start with the Angels. Currently 0-2 with a 7.36 ERA.
Yeah, for the most part, though, he's done a nice job as far as establishing his fastball. My go-tos for Wright to be successful here today. Take a look at that right after his pitch. Generally, Springer's going to be swinging at the first pitch, also a little over 40% of the time. Trusting his fastball and finish with non-strikes. That means expand the strike zone, that break a ball, whether it's curve or slider, even changeup, out of the strike zone.
1 ball, 1 strike on Springer. Comes at batting .255 with 28 home runs, 79 driven home. 4-hit game last night for George. 3 singles and a triple.
Well, here's that spot you're in now. If you're Daniel Wright, you're ahead of the count, 1-2. You have a very aggressive hitter, especially when he's looking on the inner half. There's a chance to be able to throw that break a ball in the dirt going down and away. Gave it a shot. Springer patient on that one.
Triple Springer picked up last night, his 5th of the year. Two. Foul. So up toward those rafters and out of play. Roof closed once again on this warm, muggy afternoon.
Had some rain overnight, even this morning.
Good look at the windows. Out of left field.
It's a great look.
Shouldn't be a factor. This one's punches foul. Count remains at 2-2. Unlike the windows in Milwaukee, where Miller Park with the sun later on in the afternoon usually comes in.
That is so difficult for center fielders and right fielders.
Yeah, here these windows have no effect whatsoever. Down low. Full count. It's a lot of Windex.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Thought I saw Patrick O'Neill up there earlier this series.
He thought about it.
3-2, little jam shot, flared foul. Count remains full at 3-2. Daniel's last start was at Texas. He had 5 runs, all earned on 9 hits, 4 2/3 innings through 87 pitches, the most he's thrown in his starts with the Angels. This one's lined to left. Fastball up and in. Springer turned it around for a leadoff single. Defensively for the Angels this afternoon, Rafael Ortega is out at left field. Mike Trout at center, Cole Calhoun at right. The infield, Caleb Coward and Andrelton Simmons on the left side. Cliff Pennington, C.J. Cron on the right. And Carlos Perez behind the plate.
And Coward making his 9th start at third base. He's been 0 errors, turned 2 double plays. Third base so far this year. Again, not originally in the lineup. You know, Escobar was originally in the lineup playing third and leading off, but obviously with the tragic news with Jose Fernandez today, not in the lineup for Escobar.
Yuli Gurriel, third baseman, hitting .270. 5 doubles, 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in. 31st game for Gurriel. Chops this one towards second. Should be 2. Pennington to Simmons on the first. Double play, 2 down.
And my Hyundai key for this game for the Angels to be successful, especially Daniel Wright, one of the little Kings of Leon, little waste a moment. Talked about get ahead of the count and then waste the pitch out of the strike zone against these very aggressive hitters for the Astros. Especially they love to hit the fastball, as we saw Springer getting a base hit on a high fastball inside.
2 outs on the double play. Bases clear for Jose Altuve. .338 batting average for Altuve as he lifts this one on the first base side out of play. 24 home runs, 94 runs batted in.
By the way, congratulations to the Washington Nationals. They won the NL East yesterday, or last night, I should say.
Trying to bunt his way on. Bunts it foul, 1-2. Cleveland Indians can win the Central Division today outright with a loss by Kansas City to the Tigers and a win by Cleveland.
Kansas City all over the Tigers at this moment, 7-0 early in the game though. Cleveland down 1-0 to the White Sox. Dodgers have a chance to clinch today also.
Ground ball towards short, that'll get by. 2-out single. And these are the things that you were just talking about with 2 strikes. Daniel Wright just not been able to finish off hitters. Doesn't quite have the one pitch that is the closer.
And that gets to the point where you just want to have that ability to feel comfortable enough to waste a pitch. Snap that breaker ball off. That curveball is a good one, but you want to start on the outer half of the plate, not middle part of the plate. That pitch right there, I think by design, was supposed to be inside, drifted out middle of the plate, and Altuve is not going to miss that. And he might be on the move here right away. He's got 27 stolen bases this season.
Correa comes in batting .271 with 20 home runs. 93 runs batted in.
Carlos Perez has thrown out 38% of base stealers this year.
No balls, 2 strikes. Breaking ball in the dirt. Altuve will take second.
Oh, great read. I was going to say the same thing. He read that in the dirt. So important when you as a good base runner. Let's get that good secondary lead. That way you got the momentum going in your direction. It's secondary lead. Sees that ball in the dirt, not that far away from Perez, but the read and the jump gets him there easily to second base. A lot of times base runners will be flat-footed. He was on his toes, ready to go, anticipating something in the dirt.
Two balls, 2 strikes. That is upstairs. Full count. Correa going all Gary Carter All-Star game on us today with the white shoes. Payoff pitch. Breaking ball down the line, fair ball. Altuve will score. Correa's on his way towards second, and he will slam on the brakes because Andrelton Simmons just made an absolutely ridiculous play.
We talked about him being everywhere. Well, once again, Simmons proven why. Not only is he a great athlete, the instincts off the chart. What a play. Slides over, easily gets Correa at second base.
Trying to stretch it into a double, and Andrelton Simmons just unbelievable coverage in the field. Prevents it from being a double and the inning continuing. As Ortega takes a strike to lead off the second. Ortega, Perez, and Coward here in the second inning. Rafael comes in batting .224 with a home run and 14 runs batted in. Had a couple of hits late last night's contest. Single with a run scored in the 8th. RBI double with a run scored in the 9th.
They did a real good job of letting the baseball travel deep in the zone and the barrel of the bat on it. He's been able to turn on it and also hit it the other way.
Two balls, two strikes. And again, that was another fastball, by the way, from Daniel Wright on a 3-2 pitch. Roller foul.
And a little bit too much of the zone, too. That's the thing. If you're going to throw the fastball, you got to establish off the plate in and then be able to get hitters out down and away with his fastball. Because he has pretty good command with it when he trusts it.
Two. This is lifted out to the second base side of things. Tuve backs out a couple of steps, one away.
And that's play by Simmons. Is our top tier play, brought to you by Arco. Line right down that left field line by Correa, but off that short wall, knowing where it's going to bounce and slide, and then a perfect throw right on the base by Simmons. What he did was he saw that play earlier by Correa in the series. Ball hit off that short wall down there in left field line. Reacted, got to that spot, and then quickly threw all in one motion. What a play by Simmons. Things he does and what we've seen this year, it's really made it fun to watch him play defense. We heard he was great. He's beyond that.
Carlos takes a strike on the breaking pitch. Carlos has started 3 of the 4 games in this series. Bandy was behind the plate last night. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Remember during the winter we were talking to Joe Simpson, who does a color analyst job for the Braves. He said, you're going to love the things that Simmons does. Well, it's beyond that.
Gonzalez will feed Musgrove. 2 outs. Two outs, nobody on it. Caleb Coward up. Caleb starting third baseman this afternoon, hitting .206. 3 doubles, a home run, and 4 runs batted in. 3 infielders on the right side.
Yeah, very similar we saw from Brad Peacock last night. Musgrove does not waste any time. Very quick pace.
Caleb Tardy on that fastball. Still a 1-2 count.
One thing Gattis does, when he wants a high fastball, he will set that target up high with his glove.
Up the middle, and Musgrove gloves it. Easy 1-2-3 shutdown inning for the rookie right-hander. We head to the bottom of the second with Houston leading at 1-0. Toronto game and a half better than the Baltimore Orioles. Tigers a half game back. Tigers, of course, losing currently to the Kansas City Royals. Seattle lost last night to Minnesota. They are 2.5 back at Houston at 3 back.
Crazy game with Detroit and Kansas City. Kansas City up 7-0.
Evan Gattis, first pitch swinging. Lines went out to deep left field, and Houston has itself a 2-0 lead. A no-doubter for Evan Gattis to lead off the second, his 31st home run of the season.
When you think of what the Angels have done to Gattis so far in this series, a lot of breaking balls. You got a fastball there, upper part of the strike zone. He doesn't miss many fastballs at all. That's his 12th home run since August 24th for Evan Gattis. High fastball, extremely strong. No doubt about that swing. Gattis, 69 RBIs to go along with 31 home runs.
Yeah, why would you ever throw him a fastball?
Yes. By the way, going back to that Royals game against the Tigers, it was 7-0. Victor Martinez with a grand slam, and they have the bases loaded still in the same inning.
Wow.
What a season for Gattis. Not only those that 9 home runs in the month of September for Gattis.
Gonzalez fouls it back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gonzalez a .251 average. Started last night at left field, but finished back at first base. Had a 1-for-4 game last night. 2-0 Houston. We are in the second. He'll go down swinging for the first out.
Now that's the pitch he has to go to more frequently, in my opinion, for Daniel Wright to be able to get some swing and misses. Real good breaking ball here, right on top. Ends up in the dirt, expanding the zone, especially against a hitter that doesn't hit the ball real well, lower part of the strike zone.
Tyler White today serving as the DH. Pinch hitter extraordinaire through the first 2 games. Starting first baseman last night, DHing today. 1-for-3 game yesterday with a single. .221 batting average. Kind of takes the old Evan Gattis starter kit approach at the plate. Open stance. Kind of hunched over a little bit.
Hands a little bit lower than normal. Looks like he tries to pull everything himself.
33rd round pick in 2013. There's Gattis. White goes down swinging. Back-to-back strikeouts for Daniel. Hey, get your red on in 2017 and receive special benefits and great ticket prices by becoming an Angels season seat holder. Call 888-796-HALO or just go to angels.com for details.
So the 2 strikeouts in a row for Daniel Wright. He's expanded the strike zone.
This one pulled through the right side, a base hit. Tony Kemp is on board. The left fielder came in batting .228. It's a 2-out single. It's a 5th hit allowed by Wright.
So far, at least 4 of the 5 hits have been on fastballs from Wright. And his fastball is going to be 88 to 91 range for right. He's missed location a couple times already with his fastball. Breaking ball has been better.
Marisnik a .210 average. Back in center field. Well, he made some plays last night. Offensively struggling at .210. 5 home runs, 19 RBIs. But unlike the win, Kemp off to a big lead over at first. Kemp with 2 stolen bases. Caught once. It's here at the major league level. Ten stolen bases at AAA this year.
It's a pretty good pitch. Threw him a changeup right on the outside corner, hits the lower part of the strike zone, a corner of Fox tracks.
One ball, 2 strikes. Leadoff home run for Gattis. A couple of strikeouts, and now a single by Kemp. Called strike 3. Down goes Marisnik as Wright picks up 3 strikeouts, but also gives up that blast as the Angels trailing down 2-0. Up 9-1-2. Jim Musgrove having himself a 1-2-3 second inning after giving up back-to-back 2-out hits in the first, but no damage. 1 strikeout, no walks, and 2 hits allowed. Facing Cliff Pennington, and he'll deliver a strike. Pennington at .210. 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. Got into the game late last night. Got 2 at-bats and went 0 for 2.
Breaking ball almost got him in the foot. It was also close to the plate. So often we've talked about that when you square around the bunt, push one down the line. A lot of times you'll see the batter putting the foot right behind home plate, which normally could easily be called an out at that point.
Still a 1-2 count, and with Pennington having shown bunt the previous pitch, Gurriel comes in as a normal third base. That one's just a little bit high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Breaking ball, line, and just beyond the reach of Gurriel's glove. Almost made a terrific play on it. It's a leadoff single.
Especially where he was playing. Pretty good piece of hitting. A little slider, stayed back on it well. Just over the head. Gurriel, who's shown some great range and a strong throwing arm we've seen in this series at third base.
Top of the order now with Cole at the plate.
Another shift on, and he's pitching away. A lot of room on that left side of the infield for Calhoun. Look at that number of shifts defensively put on. Astros at the top of 2,087 coming into the game today.
Cole lifted one out to Marisnick in center field to lead off the game. That changeup.
And he's thrown that pretty well. Take a look at the defensive shifts as far as the top teams in baseball. You got the Astros at the top. Nearly 500 more defensive shifts than even the second place team in Seattle Mariners and Tampa Bay Rays. The Eagles at 7th. A little over 1,100 defensive shifts put on.
A dribbler on the first base side, it goes foul.
Again, there's been a lot of those defensive shifts put on, but the top three, none of those teams in the playoffs at this moment. Hitters have made adjustments to that now.
A lot of teams starting to do scouting at the A-ball level for organizations so that they have some sort of a reference point once kids get up to the big leagues. This is bounced and gloved by diving Gonzalez. Thought about going to second base, but couldn't get the ball transferred properly. So Pennington advances into scoring position, and Calhoun's the first out here at third.
That's a wise decision by Gonzalez, and middle infielder by trade, showing that good range, getting off the base, the prep step, and dives. Couldn't get a handle on the baseball. At that point, if you try to throw, you might airmail it, so he just takes that out at first base. Very good range, diving. Most first basemen don't make that play, but when you're a middle infielder by trade, that's what Gonzalez is. Very good range, good hands.
First base open. Trout at the plate. Pujols red hot this weekend on deck.
Twice now Trout has swung at the first pitch. It's Musgrove.
One ball, one strike. The only strikeout Musgrove's picked up was of Trout in the first. This is pulled to the left side. Bobbled for a sec by Gurriel. Strong throwing arm, still gets Trout. 2 outs.
Ball was hit very well by Trout. Gurriel was able to make the play. Again, you mentioned, Victor, very strong throwing arm, even with the bobble, and Trout running down the line. And stay low on that one. Fortunate enough for him, the baseball stayed close enough to him. And now it's time for in the driver's seat with Albert Pujols coming to the plate, brought to you by Kia. Albert Pujols, as far as driving in a teammate this season, 31 of them. Pujols driving in Trout. Tops would be Ortiz driving in Bogarts, but Correa with an RBI today, driving in Altuve with 32. Ortiz driving in. Also, Ortiz is having an unbelievable season. Pedroia up there too with Ortiz as far as teammates being driven in by Big Papi.
Albert 1 for 1 with a single. Cole still at second. Or pardon me, Pennington still at second. One ball, one strike.
Doesn't seem like Musgrove wants to really challenge Albert anything near the strike zone. The way Albert has hit the ball in this series, I wouldn't either.
Fastball, and he popped him up.
Got lucky. Didn't really hit his spot.
Leadoff single, and then Musgrove retires 3 in a row. It's 2-0 Houston as we hit the bottom of the third. Positive Coaching Alliance and its mission to develop better athletes, better people by working to provide all youth and high school athletes a positive character building sports experience. Visit FoxSportsSports.com to learn more. Top of the order here for Houston. Astros on top 2-0. Solo run in the first, single by Correa. And a solo run in the second, the home run by Gattis. Wright ended up striking out 3 in that second inning. Springer had a single in the first, so he's 1 for 1.
Thrown at second by an outstanding play by Simmons off the short wall in left field.
Two balls, 1 strike. That pitch was up in the zone, even though it was a changeup. Foul tipped into the mid.
Yeah, those high changeups have a tendency to go a long way. You really have to figure out a way to keep that one down.
Full count. No walks, 5 hits allowed, and the 3 strikeouts for Daniel. At 41 pitches. And a leadoff walk. He's got nothing easy for Daniel Wright. It's going to be difficult for him at the major league level to him. Correct me if I'm wrong. Until he finds the ability to have a wipeout pitch to get guys out, especially when you're running through a lineup such as this or any top tier lineup.
Yeah, what it's going to force him to do is utilize maybe a 2-seam fastball to have sink action on it, but also a cut fastball potential, or even a split finger fastball, something to go to get a big swing and miss. When you have base runners on, you need that one pitch you can go to get a strikeout. You still love to get those ground balls pitched to contact, but you also need at some point during a game a pitch you get a swing and miss with.
On the move, a little hit and run. This one's fouled back. No balls, 2 strikes. And I guess it would be different if you were a guy that lived in the mid to upper 90s where you could rely on your fastball to rear back and let it fly, but that's not the case.
But even then, if it's over the plate, hitters love a fastball regardless. Yeah, you need something that you can spot well and change the speed with to have a nice little break to it.
Quick throw to first and Springer back.
You look what Nolasco has done, Shashin has done with their sliders. Their 2-seam fastball has been very good lower part of the strike zone. You have to set up those all-speed pitches with command of your fastball first and foremost.
Trying to get a chase and change up there. 1-2 count.
And that's a fastball, 89-mile-an-hour fastball, ends up being center part of the plate.
Breaking pitch. This is out to shallow center field. Tough play. Simmons running out there. Over the shoulder catch. Fires it back to first. How about this? Put on a clinic, Andrelton Simmons. 2 down.
There's no one better in this game at that shortstop position. There's a lot of good young shortstops. And it's certainly worthy of a Carlos Cam replay. Not only going back on this baseball. You look exactly where he's situated. Goes back, over the shoulder, catches it, and fires it to first. All in one motion. No one better than Andrelton Simmons in that shortstop position. 2-time Gold Glove winner. There's a reason why he's won multiple Gold Gloves and will win a lot more.
Here's Altuve, takes the breaking ball upstairs.
It's almost comical to watch. It's like it's not real. He's like a video game out playing shortstop. He's 2 plays today. I mean, the instincts are off the chart. The arm strength, he can close in the major leagues with his arm.
Yep. Two balls and a strike. You know what it is? He never stops until the play is over. This one's lifted out to left center. Trout will pull off Ortega. He's just constantly going.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what's
He
happening.
wants everything hit his way. That's the beauty of Andrelton Simmons. The over the shoulder and then quickly fires the first. Angels still trail though, 2-0 through 3.
Down by the score of 2-0. They come to the plate here at the top of the fourth. Figure out Joe Musgrove as Crone fights one off, and that's a fair ball. This is going to be his second double of the game. The first one off the glove of Springer and off the wall and right. This one off the knuckles. That boy will retrieve CJ's knuckles.
That's a fantastic little lob wedge down the right field line. Well placed double. He's looking around for bat broken or whatever it's going to be as he's running out of the batter's box. But it looks like a line drive double again. 2 doubles in the game. 23 on the season for CJ Crone.
So backup slider, look like. Here's Simmons. Halos have had a couple of men in scoring position so far this afternoon, have not been able to capitalize. Andrelton in a fly ball to right in his first AB.
Crone had 2 doubles on Friday night, 2 doubles here today.
Out to right. Springer back.
That's a good decision. A real good decision. Crone.
That's a flat-footed throw too. It's not like he got a running start.
He's got 12 outfield assists in right field, Springer.
One out.
See Springer at least getting that body turned. And a lot on that throw. Crone would have been out by quite a bit if he tried to tag up. A lot of times you want to be aggressive, but Springer plays shallow and right, and with that arm strength, good decision. You're already in scoring position.
Ortega for 1 with a pop-up. This will back up the middle, a base hit. Crone's going to be waved around. Marisnick up and firing, but not going to get him. Ortega late trying to get to second base, and he is out. He got caught flat-footed, waiting to see if that throw was going to be cut off. And a good throw by Gattis gets him for round number 2, but the Angels do get on the board. It's 2-1 Houston.
Yeah, I mentioned that Crone's already in scoring position. It wasn't an easy base hit to score on. Marisnick with a strong arm himself. He has 7 outfield assists. The Astros lead the American League. In baseball, as a matter of fact, an outfield assist, good arms throughout.
So 2 outs, bases cleared. Here's Carlos. Perez a ground down in his first at bat. Two balls, 1 strike.
You know what? It's been fun in this series watching both these great young shortstops play that defensive position, from Correa and Simmons. I don't know, that play right there by Simmons may have jumped ahead of Correa in this series defensively. Going back on that over the shoulder and then firing at the first for a double play.
Carlos will go down swinging. Musgrove picks up his second strikeout. The Angels do get on the board. They trail 2-1 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Is brought to you by Subaru, making the world a better place. That's why we donate to causes we care about. By El Pollo Loco, new chicken tenders. Try them today at El Pollo Loco. And by the 3-row 2016 Mazda CX-9. The Angels trail at 2-1 as we start the bottom of the 4th here in Houston, the final game of the 4-game series. Angels trying to finish off a sweep of the Astros, which is remarkable considering the struggles they've had against the Astros all season long. 1-11 coming into this weekend series. They've won the first 3. These two teams will meet once again next weekend, last series of the year for both ball clubs. Correa drops a beautiful bunt down the line. Coward will let it roll, and it'll go foul. No balls and a strike on Carlos Correa.
Yeah, you can get away with doing that here in this ballpark. Certainly not tomorrow night at the Big A. That baseball rolling once it gets to the dirt. Decision by Coward. As soon as that ball rolls foul, knocks it foul.
He'll take that, though. Number 4 hitter trying to bunt his way on if it gives you an out. Correa already 1 for 1.
I never minded that. Somebody with power like that, that's good luck. That's a good bunt.
Pretty good career numbers already. He's on the Beltray track.
Yeah, with 9 home runs and 33 RBI, yeah, you'll let him bunt. And now this is the spot now for Daniel Wright. See if he can really snap off the breaking ball.
They go fastball away. Pennington out at shallow right has it. 1 down. Hey, join us for a pregame Oktoberfest celebration in the Game 1 Music Garden when the Angels take on the Astros on Friday, September 30th, Saturday, October the 1st. Join a variety of beers, live music, and more. Just go to angels.com/promotions for more information.
a good decision. First 2 pitches from Wright against Gattis. You remember that last time up, high fastball, hit it out first pitch. Back-to-back all speed. Some sound full on that one.
Yeah. Scared me. I was writing in my scorebook. I looked at you like, what was that noise?
Think I dropped my glove again?
2-1. This one out toward right center. Cole's there. 2 outs.
And my Hyundai key for this game today. Waste a moment. Again, get ahead of the count and waste a pitch out of the strike zone to see if you can get this aggressive club to get themselves out. Last time up, Gonzalez chased the break ball in the dirt against Daniel Wright.
I'm okay now.
Back to baseball.
Haven't heard that in a while. There's Marwin Gonzalez. Gonzalez struck out of the second, one of 3 punch outs for Wright, all happening in the second inning. The old 2-out, 2-0. They get 3-0.
That will be the name of my book at some point. 2 outs, 2-0. Remember doing that a couple times in the minor leagues, and our pitching coach down there, every time you did that, you had to run an extra foul pole to foul pole.
Almost drills him here. So it's a 4-pitch walk after retiring the first 2 batters.
Mislocation once again. That's supposed to be a fastball away, and it's well off the inside part of the plate.
Second walk issued by Wright. That'll bring up Tyler White. White struck down on a breaking ball in the second. Good pitch.
And very much like Evan Gattis, White look at first pitch fastball. Good decision for Wright to throw a slider.
No balls, 2 strikes. This one out toward right field. Cole has a long run and dives, and he got it. Another fine defensive play for the Angels in this series.
Well, this has been a lot of fun to watch the defense today, and this, like you mentioned, this whole series. What range! And a dive once again by Cole Calhoun. Great play.
Unbelievable defensive plays already in this game. Andrelton Simmons, a double play on that short pop up the shallow center field. He made a terrific play earlier as well on the carom off the bat of Correa. That Cole Calhoun wrapping up the fourth inning, diving to his left. And he had a long way to go because he was playing towards right center field against Tyler Weiss. So the defense on display all weekend long here against the Houston Astros. As Caleb Coward leads things off here in the fifth inning and rolls it foul for strike one. Halos down by the score of 2-1. Oh, 1. Breaking ball. He went around. No balls, 2 strikes. Caleb will come back into the mound at his first AB.
Yeah, Musgrove, pretty good breaking ball here. Look at percentage of pitches thrown coming into this game, 47%. Fastballs, 34% slider, cut fastball, curve, and split changeup. A lot of first pitch strikes, 15 of 17. So far, it's been very impressive.
Two balls and 2 strikes on Caleb. He'll lift this one out toward left field. Tony Kemp is moving over. One out. Coward getting the start in place of Yunel Escobar, originally in the lineup. But Yunel, the passing was Fred Jose Fernandez, taken out of the game. Now very close with Jose. And Yuli Gurriel, native of Cuba as well, wearing number 16 that Jose wore.
Just still so hard to imagine. I think it was possible to get that news this morning.
Sobering pictures of Marlins Park where the game was canceled today between the Marlins and the Braves. It's the number 16 and Fernandez on the video boards outside. They put the number 16 on the back of the mound as well. Pennington takes a strike.
Amazing, 29-2 he was at home. The energy at that ballpark when he took the mound that night. Thousands of extra people would come every single game he would take the mound at home.
It was outside the ballpark and inside as well with the scoreboard, the hat, and the number, the back of the mound. It's chilling images. Swift goes down, swinging, 2 down. Calhoun comes up with the bases clear. Musgrove, by the way, has retired the sign in order once. That was in the second.
Boy, Cole has made some unreal plays again this season. Won the Gold Glove last year in right field. First ever for the Angels in that position. He is absolutely fearless going for a baseball in the outfield, Cole Calhoun.
And now a proud papa.
Yes, indeed.
Two balls, 1 strike. This one out the alley, right center field. Marisnick over to cut it off, does so. And it'll be a double for Calhoun with 2 outs. If he doesn't cut that ball off, it's possibly a triple.
Good swing by Cole. Now 30 doubles on the season. Blind Marisnik with that great coverage in the outfield is able to track that one down and throw it in quickly. Otherwise, that's a triple for sure for Calhoun. And a lot of times, especially early in the season, you would see pitchers not give in the Trout here. But with the way Albert's been swinging the bat, Trout's getting a few more pitches to drive, getting closer and closer to that 100 RBI total.
Mike's 0 for 2. A strikeout and a ground out. Two balls, no strikes. That's a strike on the inside corner. Two-out double for Cole. He's at second. 3-1. Pujols on deck.
Last time up, Trout hit a rocket to third base. Gurriel was able to recover on that and throw him out at first. Get a fastball here again.
Gattis and Musgrove are going to talk things over. Right-hander to 81 pitches now, with 2 outs here in the 5th.
One of those counts too for Trout where he's hit very well against off-speed pitches, very well against breaking balls, and very well against pitches in the middle of the plate. He's in a count now where you're going to have to challenge him.
Breaking pitch. He made a mistake there. He was up too.
And we talked about those numbers for Trout. Off-speed pitches, 305, breaking ball, 310, and then middle pitches. He had a middle breaking ball, so it's a great combination for Trout, and he just missed that last one.
Three-two on the way. Trout fouls it off, got a fastball.
I believe he's going to try a slider or a cut fastball off the outside corner now, especially since he threw a fastball at 93 on the outside corner.
Another payoff. He went with a slider and his hard shot and gloved on the backhand by Altuve on one hop. Throws out Trout and keeps this a Houston lead 2-1. We will head to the bottom of the 5th inning with the Angels trailing at 2-1. 2-1. I want to remind you this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Los Angeles Angels and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball LP. Kemp, Marisnick, and Springer. 8-9-1 for the Astros here in the 5th. Kemp had a base hit in the 2nd inning. Stranded at first. 1 for 1.
Well, there's been some defensive plays made in this game. Altuve had the one.
This one locked out to right field, and it's going to go. A home run for Tony Kemp. His first. And the Astros lead is 3-1.
Now 2 for 2 in the game.
First big league home run for Tony Kemp. Not known for hitting many of them.
And some high fives in the dugout for the Astros. High changeup. Stayed back on it well. We talked about that changeup at times that Daniel Wright has missed location upstairs. This time he paid for that one.
Two balls, one strike. Jake Marisnick struck out looking in his first at-bat. Lifts this one out to shallow right field. Long run for Pennington and Calhoun. Paul calling it off. Makes the catch on the run for the first down.
He's going to cover some ground the last couple of innings for Cole Calhoun. Finished off the last inning, bottom of the 4th, that outstanding diving catch. Had to go a long way on this pop-up in the shallow right field.
Springer with a single and a walk. They'll shoot this one into center field, a breaking ball. He's been on board 3 times today. Bring out Gurriel. Hey, join us on Sunday, October the 2nd for Fan Appreciation Day. Angels will celebrate our fans as we take on the Astros at 12:05. Fans in attendance will have a chance to win great prizes courtesy of Welk Resorts, Jersey Mike's, and Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. Visit angels.com/promotions for details.
It's the 7th hit of the series here for Springer.
Gurriel is hit into 2 double plays, a traditional 4-6-3 in the first inning, and then the pop-up to shallow center field caught by Simmons, who spun around and fired to first to double up Springer. Springer's on the move, little hit and run, little dribbler. Carlos picks it up, goes to first. Crow's got it. Springer tried to go to third, a quick tag, got him. How about 3 double plays that Gurriel's been a part of?
And 2 unconventional ones already in the game.
Jim Joyce brings it up. We'll see what the Astros decide if they're going to challenge it.
That's a great throw from Crone. He got a lot on that throw also. Springer never hesitated. Once he saw Perez making that play, kept going.
No argument from the Astros.
3 double plays possible.
We are headed to the 6th inning with the Angels down 3-1.
top in that second wild card race. 2-run home run by young Soo Kim, his 5th of the season. He's a rookie for Baltimore as they lead the Diamondbacks 2-1. That's a game break from Camden Yards. And here is that home run with one on. Kim hits this one with some good carry to right center field as Baltimore leading now in the 6th inning, 2-1. Zach Britton, their closer, may be brought in again to keep that lead later on in the game for the O's.
Albert, skies went out toward left center field. Kemp shading that ways there. One out.
Kemp still feeling real good, getting that first major league home run in his 53rd game at the big league level. Has to be a thrill for him. Sure got the baseball.
Chopper to short. Correa's got it. Crone retired for the first time. 2 doubles prior to that at bat. 2 away. Simmons 0 for 2 with a couple of fly balls to right. Watch out. This was line to left. That's going to go to the wall. Kemp playing toward the alley, has a long way to get there. Simmons on his way to second. He's got himself a 2-out double. Is that the 4th double the Angels have hit this game? 2 by Crow, 1 by Calhoun, now by Simmons.
Went down and got this all-speed pitch. A slider that backed up on Musgrove and lines it to left field. 22nd double for Simmons on the season. .333 batting average, runners in scoring position for Ortega.
1 for 2 today with an RBI single. He'll swing at the first one, bounces it to Altuve. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning with the Astros leading at 3-1. Daniel Wright back to work. 3-4-5 duo for the Astros here in the 6th inning. Altuve, Correa, and Gattis. Wright with 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 7 hits allowed, 2 of which have been home runs. Gattis and Kemp solo shots. Altuve 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored in the first, a fly ball to center in the 3rd.
That fastball there from Wright had some decent late movement. Had their first pitch break a ball out of the strike zone.
Reaching for it, holds it foul. Still at 1-2.
Good location, that breaking ball.
Ground ball to 3rd. 1 down. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. You can watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. With a free subscription to FBAT Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.TV for details. Correa 1 for 2, had an RBI single in the first. Grounded out to Pennington last time up. One and 2.
Saw that fastball in the inner half of the plate, fouled it straight back. Mike Morin in the bullpen. Already the longest start of its Angel career for Daniel Wright at 5 1/3.
Full count. Here's the payoff to Kemp. A chopper to short. 2 down.
Now his longest outing as a big leaguer. He went 5 1/3 for the Reds against the Dodgers back in May.
Gattis cues it foul for strike 1. Gattis with a home run in the 2nd, his 31st. A fly ball right in the 4th. Breaking ball ripped down the line, and that is foul. Chip Joyce had to get out of the way of it first. Made the decision.
Not easy to get away from that line drive right at him.
It's foul.
Yep.
Gattis goes down swinging, and a 1-2-3 inning for Wright. 6 complete. Houston up 3-1. Of Angels baseball on Fox Sports West is brought to you by Longo Toyota. #1 for 49 straight years. There must be a reason. Why go anywhere else?
And drive pink at AutoNation. Help us drive out breast cancer fast. Visit AutoNation.com.
Halos down 3-1 as we start the 7th. Bottom third of the order coming up. Perez, Coward, and Pennington.
Daniel Wright, quality start, first major league quality start. Love to see some run support now to put himself in position to pick up his first major league W. 6 very good innings, especially that last breaking ball, that one we were talking about, that sharp one.
Gurriel to the backhand, across the diamond. Well, that's a missile for an arm. Perez retired for the 3rd time tonight, or today I should say.
And he has been very impressive defensively in this series. Been very busy the entire series. The backhand gathers himself in that arm strength he has, and a strike to first.
Caleb will bounce her back to the mound and a fly ball to left. High fastball, 1-2.
Well, A.J. Hinch has to be real happy with what he's seen from Musgrove here tonight in this game. Been very good at home, 2-1 season at home with a 1.86 ERA.
Caleb, foul tips that one to the mitt. 2 down. Strikeout number 4 for Musgrove. A.J. Hinch has got to be thrilled to get into the 7th inning with his starter. Although he pulled his starter on his own yesterday after 5 innings, because the bullpen's been worked pretty hard in this series. Cliff 1 for 2 with a single.
It's 96 pitches thrown here into the 7th inning with 2 outs. It's a backdoor cut fastball. He's had a great pace throughout this entire game. He had a tough first inning as far as pitch count, and the fifth, both at 21 pitches. Other than that, very economical, especially in the sixth. Only 6 pitches thrown.
Pennington lifts it out toward right center. Marisnik is there. Musgrove with another 1-2-3 inning. Stretch time here at Houston. Astros still lead at 3-1. Matters is October. The NLDS starts October the 7th on FS1. Take a look at the National League wildcard standings. And here's a look at it. Nationals clinching their division last night. Cubs are already done. Dodgers with an opportunity to do that today. And then you've got the wild card with the Giants, Mets tied at the top, and then you got the Cardinals just a half game back.
That's amazing, that race in the wild card in the National League. The Mets leading today against the Phillies late.
Brett Oberholzer on the mound, taking over for Daniel Wright. Oberholzer 1-1 record, 8.80 ERA, 8 games, 2 starts. Sorry, in and out, who's in, who's out. Top of the order coming up for the Astros.
Overall, solid effort though today, I think, for Daniel Wright. A couple mistakes, better with that finish-off pitch at times.
It's the bottom half of the order. Gonzalez, White, and Kemp. The Angels will have the top of the order coming up in the 8th inning. I'm already looking ahead to the exciting 8th inning. It's going to happen.
It's been very good the last couple of nights.
Do we even have to go through this exercise of playing the bottom of the 7th?
Right to the 8th for some halo runs and 9. 16 of them in the last 2 games for the Angels in the 8th and 9th inning. 9 last night, 7 on Friday.
Gonzalez, a strikeout and a walk. Switch hitter spins around, hit from the right side. Right, by the way, 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 of which were home runs, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, 3 runs, all 3 earned. Ground ball over to Crone. 1 out. Bring up Tyler White, DH.
Robert Holzer familiar with this ballpark. Astro.
White's 0 for 2 with a strikeout, a fly ball to right field. His count even up on him at 1-1. Holtz originally the Braves system. They got traded to the Astros. That was back in 2011. Michael Bourne trade. Parts of 4 seasons with the Astros. At the major league level with Houston, been 11-20 with a 3.94 ERA, 45 games, 42 starts. Two. Good off-speed pitch. Tony Kemp on deck. 2-2 on the way. White bounces it down the line, foul. Another 2-2 from Oberholzer. And this one's drilled out to deep left field and make that 4-1. Tyler White unloading his 8th home run of the season, 28th RBI.
3rd home run of the game for the Astros, getting 196 on the season. Part of the plate, all speed. No doubt, lines it out, well out to left. Well, the Angels down now by 3 runs here in the 7th, bottom of the 7th. Came back-to-back games, first time in club history. 3 runs or more down through 7.
It's the 6th home run that Oberholzer's allowed, this being his 9th appearance. One ball, 2 strikes. Kemp 2 for 2 with a single and his first big league home run. That was in the 5th, off right. Two. Kemp lifts one out the left. Ortega has to go back a couple of steps. 2 down. Here's Marisnick, 0-for-2 with a strikeout and a fly ball to right. The Angels in the 8th have Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols to do up. More than likely, Musgrove is done after 7 innings. Will Harris had been warming for the Astros. This one's fouled back. No balls, 2 strikes. And the veteran still there.
Very solid effort by Musgrove today, given the length in the game and quality pitching that A.J. Hinch needed out of his starter.
Called strike 3. Down goes Marisnick. The Astros add a run on the White home run as we head to the 8th. Astros up 4-1.
Have the Astros right where they want them, down 3, heading to the 8th. And do we have another miracle comeback? 3 in a row. Good things happen in 3, so we shall find out with Cole Calhoun leading things off on Patrick O'Neill. Hope you stick around after the game for Angels Live, brought to you by your SoCal Mazda dealers. It's a pretty good show, but of course I'm incredibly biased. We'll have Jose Mota, and we're going to go over some great defense that we have seen in this game. And Victor and Mark, speaking of bias, as far as the Gold Glove is concerned, in the past it's kind of been a biased award. Do we have any candidates this year? Cole Calhoun, would he win a back-to-back?
Well, he's got a shot in Anderson Simmons for sure. What we've seen from that shortstop position, Mike Trout's always in that conversation. Is Gold Glove winner potential in center field also.
Cole lead things off here in the 8th. Trout to follow, then Pujols. Will Harris, 64th game, 1-2 record, a 2.20 ERA. This will be his 2nd appearance for him in the series. First one's up and in. Calhoun today 1 for 3, had a double in the 5th.
When you're looking for some base runners, some opportunities to put some stress on this bullpen after back-to-back games struggling.
Harris fall behind here, 2 balls and no strikes. But 1 inning in Friday's game, had 2 strikeouts. And he's behind at 3 balls and no strikes. The Boo Birds have been out the last 2 days with that bullpen.
And they'll be a little nervous if somehow Cole gets on here right away.
And that's a 4-pitch walk to start the 8th.
Not even really close either on any of those pitches.
It'll be interesting who they use to try to close things out if they get to that point, because Giles was hit by a ball yesterday in batting practice. Gregerson's pitched the last 2 nights. They'll try to find a way. The Angels get their leadoff man on board. Trout will come up. 0 for 3 today. A strikeout and a couple of groundouts. Musgrove, by the way, went 7 innings, gave up a run on 7 hits and 4 strikeouts and no walks. Breaking ball to Mike is in for a strike. Halos with a run on 7 hits. They've stranded 5. The Angels, the Astros, 4 runs on 8 hits, 3 of which have been home runs. All 3 solo shots, and they've stranded 2.
Going back-to-back breaking balls against Trout.
Fouled off 1-2.
I think it's a pretty good plays by the defense to keep Trout off the bases out too. It was a real good play against Trout last at bat with Cole on at second. Line a 1-hopper up the middle. The backhand threw him out of first base.
One-two to Trout. This is ground ball over to first. Gonzalez touches the bag, fires to second. They force out, or I should say tagged out Calhoun because of the force out at first. And it turns into a double play, 2 outs, and the bases are clear.
And that baseball was hit hard too by Trout. So 3 times he's hit the ball hard in the infield. Gonzalez able to field that one and throw to second base right away. Get a double play out of it.
Albert up with the bases cleared, 2 down. 1 for 3 today with a single. Albert fouls it off. One ball, 2 strikes. Bouncer toward third. Gurriel comes in. Big high hop. Halos are done here in the 8th. We'll head to the bottom of the inning. It's still 4-1 Houston. 16. It starts tomorrow night with a 3-game series beginning at 7:05. Jared Weaver, Ricky Nolasco, Alex Meyer, the 3 going for the Halos Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They've got an off day on Thursday, and the Astros in town for 3 beginning on Friday. Brent Oberholzer delivers a strike on George Springer. Springer, Gurriel, and Altuve here in the bottom of the 8th. George has been on board 3 times, 2 singles and a walk.
Up and in fastball there at the first pitch strike. Trying to expand the zone.
One, 2 on the way. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Springer pops it up. Down the line, slicing toward the seats. Cron may have a play. And he can't get it.
Went a long way, was tracking that baseball well, got towards the wall, and then the last second looked up and didn't get quite to that wall. If he gets there, he has a shot at making that play. If he gets to the wall first, and that ball just falls in fair in play. If he gets to the wall, be able to get that one.
We've seen that, unfortunately, from CJ, still kind of figuring out that first base position, drifting too much, as you said, as opposed to getting to a spot.
You just get to that wall with, watching like Anthony Rizzo from the Cubs, he gets to the wall first and foremost, and then you can work your way back into the field of play. It's very difficult to reach as you get towards the wall.
Yeah, some high rafters here, but that one wasn't as close. Two again, and it's a full count. Fouled off. Another 3-2. Springer lines on the left. Lead off single. Ortega get it back in.
Oh, what a series for Springer. Stays back on this one well. Inner half of the plate. We talked about how well he hits the ball inside part of the plate. Lines out into the left field. 3 for 3 today with a walk. 4 for 5 last night. 9 for 16 in the series.
Gurriel has been a part of 3 double plays this afternoon. Takes down and away. 1-0 count. Chopper It would be 4 Simmons to Pennington on the first 4 double plays. Wow.
A little more conventional in that one. But not an easy play either for Simmons. In between hop, quick feed to Pennington, 6, 4, 3, double play.
The bases are clear for Altuve.
Talk about pace of play. You just got to get him to play. One of those days. That was not an easy play for Simmons. That's a tough in-between hop.
And Gurriel gets down the line pretty well.
Exactly. He had to get rid of that quickly, and a quick turn by Pennington.
Altuve 1 for 3 with a single in the first. Two and one. Turned that one over. Ground ball to short. Simmons has it. And we will head to the 9th inning. It looks like Ken Giles is coming into this game with the Angels down 3.
To salvage one of these 4 games, the Angels won 3 in a row against the Astros. It goes down at 4-1. CJ Cron going to lead off against Ken Giles. This will be his 67th game, 2-5 mark, 4.31 ERA. Was a losing pitch in Friday's game in which he gave up 6 earned runs. It's the 3rd of an inning pitch. He had 3 walks in that game, 13 saves on the season for Giles. In the wild card race is Baltimore, trying to hold on and win the game against Arizona today. Zach Britton in the game. Houston 3 games back. Very important game here for the Astros and A.J. Hinch to stay alive in the wild card race.
Cron, Simmons, and Ortega here in the 9th inning for the Angels. Giles yesterday, as we mentioned, hit on the wrist at batting practice. Was down motionless. They had to get a cart for him. He got hit on the wrist. But he's back today. Breaking ball did not go. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cron, a couple of doubles and a ground out.
Got to show some patience. Don't help him out. Create some doubt.
Three-one count. DJ bounces the foul. Crone works the lead-off walk to start the ninth.
Some tough news for the Astros and their fans too. Baltimore won their game today 2-1 against Arizona. Zach Britton picked up his 46th save in 46 opportunity in his 250th career game for Baltimore. What a season he is having closing for the O's. And Toronto was down 3-2 in the ninth, and the Yankees have tied it up. They have second and third no outs in Toronto against the Yankees.
Tigers still trailing.
Yeah, 11-7.
Simmons swinging first pitch. Hamilton 1 for 3, had a double in the sixth. Takes a strike.
98-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside corner at the knees.
Ortega on deck. They'll flip over. Crone's not going anywhere. Down 3 here in the ninth. Check swing. Did not go. One ball, 2 strikes.
Real close to crossing the plate there from that angle.
Nice block. Jason Castro behind the plate taking over for Gattis.
Overthrown breaking ball right in the dirt. Solid technique. Castro to keep that in front. Going to go fastball away.
This was fouled off to the right. Leadoff walk to C.J. Crone. Simmons with a 2-2 count. Nobody out. Little flare out to right field. Springer is there. And they'll put it away for first down.
And he plays so shallow out there and right able to run that one down.
Here comes Ortega.
Toronto walked off against the Yankees. 4-3. Encarnacion, who's been an RBI machine, infield hit. Walt Donaldson to load the bases intentionally, and Encarnacion wins the game for the Jays.
Well, you can't say that the Yankees haven't had opportunities over the last 2 weeks. Toronto now 86-69 on the year.
I know they had to make some moves to bring some younger players, but how different would that be for the Yankees if they had Chapman and Miller in that bullpen as good as they were earlier in the season? 1, 7, 8, 9 innings.
Yeah, I think it's weighing the option of how far would you go into this postseason versus what you can get, you know, for a couple of years down the road.
They got some great young talent.
Yes, they did. 0-2 count on Ortega.
But you know, those Yankee fans, New York fans, anywhere back east, they're not real patient as far as the rebuilding process, especially when you're that close to getting into the postseason.
So if the Tigers lose, they'll be a game and a half back from the second wild card spot, with both Baltimore and Toronto winning.
Well, Zach Britton's got to be in that conversation now.
No doubt.
For Cy Young. His ERA is about 0.57.
Been perfect. Oh, 2. And this is pulled foul. Went down and got it.
That got a lot of the strike zone. 0-2.
Oh, 2. Crone's on the move, and Ortega fouls it back. CJ will head back over to first. Giles very deliberate on the mound. A walk and a fly ball to right so far here in the ninth. Ortega flips it down the left field line, slicing out of play.
That and also pretty tough pitches Ortega.
And he goes down swinging. That's out number 2. It can't advance to first as Crone's over there. So 2 outs and a man on now. The Angels down to the last out.
Going with break a ball after break a ball in the dirt. Finally gets a swing and miss after tough pitches that he fouled off for Ortega.
Nick Buss is going to pinch hit for Carlos Perez. Trying to keep this 9th inning alive. .208 average for Nick. 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. Crone's on the move to throw down to second. Gets away from Correa. Kind of interesting you're going there with down 3 runs. You better make sure you can get there, because if Correa comes up with that ball, he's out.
Yeah, I think he's got him. Yeah, it ends up being a second stolen baseman caught 3 times, but your run doesn't matter at this point. You need some help, some extra runners on here.
.1-0. Buss is swinging a miss. 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs. Cron at second. 1-2.
Giles for throwing upper 90s. There was a lot of breaking balls.
Yep. The 1-2. Strikes out, swinging, and the Astros pick up the finale of the 4-game set, 4-1.
And the Astros used their power game with 3 home runs, including Kemp's first major league home run. Gattis, a home run. White, a home run for Houston as they were able to win. Musgrove threw the ball exceptionally well, picks up his 4th victory of the season. Daniel Wright, who threw the ball well for the Angels, falls to 0-5 now on the season as the Astros able to salvage the last game of this 4-game set.
Good series overall for the Angels over the weekend here. Some terrific come from behind victories the last 2 days. Unfortunately today, unable to make it 3 in a row as they dropped the final game of the series by the final of 4-1. Stick around, Angels Live postgame is coming up next.